Ohayo gozaimasu. This is Japan language. Today we will do the guest lecturer from Japan, and the moderator will be handled by Dr. Engineering Zulkifli Muhtar. He is Doctor Graduation from School of Urban Engineering, Osaka City University. And this time, he is director of Okabayashi Jaya Corp Japan, a company on the file of urban solution, disaster, smart community, business, and education. For this time, I will offer to moderator to handle this event until the end, and then offer the host again. Thank you. For this time, I'm offer for you the room for moderator. Thank you very much. Please.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ibu Abida Sensei. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Ohayou gozaimasu, and Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. For the first, I want to introduce myself. I'm Zulkifli Mokhtar, now live in Tokyo. I will handle today sebagai moderator for kuliah tamu public lecture today around 1 hour until 1 hour 30 minutes from now. First, thank you very much for your attendance today. So special I give my appreciation to Ibu Abida, Pak Ibu Abida, and Pak Dekan, Prof. Dean of Faculty of Engineering, Universitas Nasional Makassar. Today, we have very special theme, specific theme, interesting about very wonderful talk about Global Power City Index. Maybe if we talk about Global Power City Index, we can imagine what the power of one, what the strength and what the power of the one or city, a global city in the world. So today, the title about Global Power City Index and what lesson learned from Tokyo urban development. What lesson learned from global opportunity? Lesson learned from Tokyo urban development. Lecture will be given by Hiro Ichikawa, PhD. I also call Ichikawa Sensei. Ichikawa Sensei is a professor emeritus of Meiji University of Japan. Also is executive director of the Mori Memorial Foundation, Japan. Maybe we know that Tokyo is one of epicentrum business in the world, one of the economic center in the world, having high GDP, having high GDP per capita, have strong market capitalization, and having much company listed in the world top 5 company in the world. So I have lived in Japan around 15 years, so I found that Tokyo is a very attractive city, yeah, very attractive, and attractive for shopping, for dining, pleasure, and having I mean that having a culture contents can be seen in the city. Unemployment rate is low and have high level of cleanliness and security. In here, Global Power City Index is I see that the World Index is one a survey around 48 global city in the world for the subject of 6 functions: economic development, cultural interaction, livability, environment, and accessibility, with 26 indicator group and evaluate about 70 evaluation indicator. So this is really very comprehensive study, I think. Today, Professor Ichikawa Sensei will share us about, give lecture about the Global Power City Index. And I think that what the strength and what the weakness of Tokyo, and what we can learn from the case of Tokyo urban development. Same like how has Tokyo changed, and in post COVID-19, how will people live, and also special Ichikawa Sensei will give us share about special about Jakarta strength, Jakarta weakness, and some improvement needed for future urban development. Okay, this is my introduction from me. So because we have focused to the time schedule today, we have focused to time schedule. Okay, let me start to hear a lecture from Ichikawa Sensei. But before that, maybe I would like to explain you about brief curriculum vitae of Professor Ichikawa. Ibu Abida, silakan Ibu Abida. Ichikawa Sensei was born in Tokyo and graduated Bachelor of Architecture and Master of Urban Planning from Waseda University, Japan, and finished PhD from Canada, from University of Waterloo in Canada. And then, Bu Abida ada slide-nya? And now, Professor Dr. Ichiwa is Professor Emeritus in Meiji University of Tokyo and Executive Director of the Mori Memorial Foundation Japan. He also active in several executive committee of the central government and local government professional in Japan, such as Cabinet Office, Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transportation Japan, JICA, and Tokyo Metropolitan Government. He also published several books related to urban and city. Now, Professor Ichikawa also several academic associations, such as President of Institute of Metropolitan Policy, Japan Emergency Management Association, Japan President of Japan Telework Society, President of Japan Association of Emergency Qualified Manager, Japan Rescue Association, and Executive Director of the Mori Memorial Foundation. Okay, this is my introduction for Professor Ichikawa. Okay, I informed to the participant, but after lecture from Ichikawa Sensei, we have session time about 30 minutes from question time. Maybe if you have question, we have suggestion about that, you can write in the chat room. So, okay. Okay, now we are pleased to welcome Professor Emeritus Hiro Ichikawa. Please, Ichikawa.
Well, good morning, everyone. Today, I will explain the history and the condition now in Tokyo. And before that, I will introduce the world ranking system. It's already quite well known in the world now. So, okay, please, just a moment, I'll take my presentations. Okay, first topic I have to say is the Global Power Index. And this is the every year we renew. We started 2008. And 2021 will be coming soon. But today I'll introduce the topic of 2020. What is GPCI? Well, first of all, we have to understand how city is active. And I know there are many topics and opinions about that, but from our viewpoints, we are focusing on 6 major urban functions, such as economy, research and development, cultural interaction, livability, environment, and accessibility. And we are trying to find the total power. It's called the comprehensive power of cities. And this is research committees. And this is not only in Japan, this is a kind of worldwide now. So originally we had Sir Peter Horo from London, College University of London, but he's passed away. But now we have quite several influential professors in the world, like Saskia Sassen from Columbia, and Michael Batty from University College of London, and some others. And also we have a peer reviewers. And I am just the chairman of the working committee. And well, this is a kind of comprehensive power in global power city, global. So this means one or two top cities in every country. And as a total, we have 48 cities. And from Indonesia, we have Jakarta. And these are indicators. So 6 urban function has several type of indicators, index. And in case of economy, there are 6 indicator groups. And every group has 1 or 2 or 3 index. And as a total, there are 7 indicators to be analyzed. And as you can see now, some of the weighting here, in case of economy, it's most weighted. In case of the R&D, it's literally about half of the economy. Such kind of weighting just working well in every city now. The result. And well, time is limited, so I will introduce only 5 top cities. This is a ranking of 2020. So top starts from London down to the New York, Tokyo, Paris, Singapore, Amsterdam, blah, blah, blah. Then, well, as a reference, in case of Jakarta now, the position is 45, 45th. And every year some change. So recently, the Shanghai, 1 year ago, the position was 20th, but now this time it's coming up to 10th. So it's something happens sometimes, especially for Chinese cities. Shanghai and Beijing have good positions, but at the top 6 cities are quite fixed. Within 6 cities, some changes, but these are kind of very high scores there. So this is a trend. What happens from 2010 to 2020 for 10 years. So you can see when I started this ranking system, the top city was New York, but it was switched by the London 2012 because of Olympic Games in London. After that, the score of London is just going up. And in case of Tokyo, well, we had a 4th position, but once we announced the inviting Olympic Games in Tokyo 2020, after that, 2015, Tokyo had a 3rd position over the Paris positions. And the second top city in Asia is Singapore. Singapore is quite small country, but quite a good balance and power there. Some explanation about the city. London, cultural interaction is the top, and accessibility the top. Environment, well, environment is not good for the mega cities. Well, Scandinavian city has good scores, but in case of London, it's 14th. It's not bad. This is the topic we have to say about London. How about New York? Economy is the top, and R&D is top. Okay? Livability is quite worse. It's 33rd. Well, several reasons. Well, high cost of living or just some deteriorated areas apart, such kind of thing. But at the total, New York has the 2nd position. Tokyo, had the third positions. And Tokyo has not top rank to the function, but well, fairly quite good. In case of economy, number 4, environment, number 18, accessibility, number 7. And finally, as a comprehensive power, Tokyo has the third position. Paris, economy is fair. Livability is not bad. Accessibility is quite good. So such kind of, so you can find here for top cities, some variety of difference from the viewpoint of functions. Singapore, this is quite small country and the next to your country, but well, every time this country has a quite good balance. Well, this is a country and city, same thing. So in case of Singapore, economy is number 5. Environment, number 13. This is best in Asia. And accessibility, number 8. And finally, Singapore has a position number 5. Shanghai is coming up now. In case of economy, number 11. Cultural interaction, number 19. Livability, less, little bit worse, to 37. But the total, the Shanghai got the 10th position. So the more in detail, I have to say, and today only focus on case of Tokyo. And in case of economy, Tokyo has a 4th position. R&D, Tokyo has a 3rd position. Cultural interaction, Tokyo has a 4th position. Livability, 12th position. Well, but it's not bad because you can see the good city in livability is top is Amsterdam, 2nd Madrid, 3rd Berlin, 4th Paris, Barcelona. European city has a good position in this function. Environment. Well, Scandinavian city and Australian city would have a good topic. Stockholm, some others. In case of mega cities, London has a 4th position, Tokyo has a 18th, New York 22nd. Accessibility. This is the topic, good topic for the large city. And top city is London, followed by Paris, Shanghai, New York, Amsterdam, Frankfurt, Tokyo. So while you can see Tokyo has nothing of a top, but as a total, the comprehensive power is kind of balanced. And finally, Tokyo has a position of 3rd. So some in detail, economy ranking. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, New York, London, Beijing, Tokyo is actually already fixed, not so changing yet. But after that, Singapore coming up. Hong Kong is now it's getting down, but in 2020, Hong Kong had a quite good position. And well, as a reference, Jakarta had a 37th. And what is good, what is bad? Well, you can see in the 3rd position, GDP growth rate in Tokyo is 43rd, quite bad. But on the other hand, nominal GDP is 2nd, and the stock market capitalization is 2nd. So that's kind of the difference in between. But in case of in right-hand side, corporate tax rate, this really was in New York and Tokyo. It meant it's quite expensive. So this is the strength and weakness in Tokyo. Market size, economic vitality is a good point, and high corporate tax rate, human resource, it means the number of people who can speak English and the variety of workplace options are the weak point. R&D. Well, top city is in New York, and Tokyo is just coming to 3rd positions now. But now Los Angeles is coming quite soon. And well, you can see Jakarta is 46. So detail here is Tokyo is not bad. Academic results, number of researchers, number 2, and the number of patents, innovation, that's number top. So this is a strength and weakness. Number of researchers, academic performance, number of patents, number of startups. Okay, but world top university ranking is not good. Number of international students, not so many. These are weak points. So third function, cultural interaction. But London has a quite big score every year. It's traditional topic. Tokyo has a 4th position. And Jakarta is a 41st. And recently, Shanghai has a quite largest increase. It's coming up now. This is a detail. So good in Tokyo is a number of hotel rooms and attractiveness of shopping options and dining options. These are tops. Well, generally, this is a good point now. Tokyo is changing year by year because of Olympic Games 2020. It postponed to 2021. But because of opening of Olympic Games, I know we are just getting more scores in this function. So this is a strength and weakness. Visitor amenities, such as hotels, shopping, dining. Weakness, number of luxury hotel rooms, nighttime life options. Next function is livability. Tokyo has a position number 12, but this is the best in Asia. And in case of Jakarta, it's 40s. And Amsterdam, Madrid, Berlin, this university has a good position. So we can see which part is good for Tokyo. Like a total working hours. Well, this data shows less working time is better for people. And how about the other well-being, social freedom and equality, such as index are good, but well, in the working environment, you can see the housing rent. It's quite expensive. Well, and number of murders. Well, we have not so many number of murders, but now Asian cities and other cities, number of murders quite getting down now. So Tokyo is not necessarily a good position here. Next one is finally the strengths and good things. Work environment, ease of living. Weakness is work style flexibility, economic risk or natural disaster. Well, same to Indonesia, we have so many earthquakes. So every time we are threatened by the attack of earthquakes. Environment ranking. Well, this is a good topic for European and Scandinavian countries. So in case of mega cities, Singapore has the 13th, London has the 14th, and Tokyo has the 18th. And unfortunately, Jakarta is not a good topic. This is 47, over the Mumbai. But that's kind of important topic for the policymakers, how to clean up here. Then this is a list of in this field. So CO2 emissions would be better than other index. Then this is strengths and weakness. Commitment to the climate action and satisfaction with urban cleanness are good points. Renewable energy rate and urban greenery are just weak points. final function, accessibility. So top cities are London, and Shanghai had the third. So Tokyo had the seventh position. So this includes intercities and intercity and some other condition of transportation. Jakarta had a 44th. Now, what's good for Tokyo? Well, you can see in just the middle part, public transportation use, number one. And the number of passengers for air transport capacity is a third. But the worst point is the traffic congestion, 38, such as the topics here. Then, good point, bad points. Well, bad point is the comfort of traveling within the city. Well, this means a kind of congestion. It takes time to move. Okay. Then some comparison between top three cities. This is a case of Tokyo for the from 2012 to the 2020. So, well, you can see the case over here. Economy is getting down, but cultural interaction and activities are getting better. Environment is a little bit down. This is the last 8 years. Compared to other cities, to London and New York, it's a very different shape. You know, whenever any city has a top power in the world, it must be unique something. So you can see in case of London, in London, cultural interaction is quite unique and strong. New York, well, it might be economy and R&D. So Tokyo has nothing as a position number one. So Tokyo is a type of a balanced. On the other hand, the London and New York has a quite very strong points. This is a different shape in between among three cities. And year 2012, year 2016, year 2020, well, of course, some change there, and it's changing. So because of the Olympic Games in Tokyo, especially for cultural interaction, is getting better. So if something happens in any city, new things, new events, new policy, the power of the city is changing. So well, already our Olympic Games was passed now. So next topic is Olympic Games in Paris, 2024. So Paris has a more power, maybe. Okay, thank you so much about this power of the city. And one other topic is because of COVID, what happened in sharing cities? So 5 cities we studied, October to November 2020, about 1 year ago. And the first question is how you are, well, how you are forced to change your life. So about 90% of people thinks yes. So very big topic for this COVID-19 is we have to think about the place to work, because many Japanese companies located in city center, they order don't come to company, don't come to office. So they have to work in their houses. So about the condition we studied before pandemics, on the pandemics, and the future, how do you think? So there are many topics, but you can see the case of London, Tokyo. In London, before COVID-19, about 20% people just working in a house. It's coming up to 45. And maybe after COVID, it might be same. In case of Tokyo, you can see before COVID, it was 24 and coming up 30, not so much, but many people think after COVID passed away, they would like work in a house. So this is quite different topic for other cities compared to the London, New York, Paris, and Singapore. And another question is trying to find the idea that the people would like to change the place to live. So, well, but maybe we should see the case of Tokyo and New York. It's contrast. Okay, in case of New York, very likely, somewhat likely, very likely, and somewhat unlikely. Well, some change. But in case of the somewhat likely and very likely, 20% and 20%. It means about 40% of people in New York thinks to move. But in case of Tokyo, it's different. Somewhat unlikely, the 40%. So this is the style of the people to live in New York and London. It's different, but some change will be happening. So the next question is, when you want to move, where do you like? So Toppansa in Tokyo is a suburban areas, and Toppansa in New York is a city center. So this great contrast. Well, because of COVID-19, many people were stopped to come to city center. But even so that, after the COVID-19, still people in New York would like to come to city center. On the other hand, about 30% people would like to go out to suburban areas. And this condition already started now. We still keep the same number of population, but some of people living in Tokyo just starting to going out to suburban areas. So it might be continued after the COVID-19. So this is the GPCI and some conditions what happened under COVID-19. And some summarized here. The other reference, I have some data about Jakarta in GPCI. Good points, GDP growth rate, total employment, and number of hotel rooms, number of luxury hotel rooms, and number of mothers, this small number, and the risk to mental health. These are good. And renewable energy rate is quite good on the CO2 emissions per capita. But these are good points in Jakarta. On the other hand, there's a weakness, wage level, availability of skilled human resources, number of researchers, and research and development expenditure. Well, this is just the last. And air quality and urban greenery, cities with direct international flights and station density. Well, anyway, many people know that, but this is data when compared to other cities. Okay. And finally, this is a balance. Deviation of 50 is just middle. So in case of Jakarta, most every function just under this deviation of 50 among 48 cities. Okay, now coming to the topic of Tokyo, next 10 years. Well, learning from the past and preparing for the future, now we are doing that. Today, I'll just quite short time to explain about that. History of Tokyo. This is 1910, about 100 years ago. This is a quite small city and not so many railway network. So at that time, this is about the end of the feudal, well, we just opened the country in 1868. So this picture is around that time. It's a time of feudalism. And after that, Japanese government tried to import many British systems. So these buildings are constructed on British design in central part of Tokyo. Station and railway construction. Then it's coming in 20 years. About population becomes close to double. Then population becomes about 4 times. So quite a rapid expansion after we open the country. And this is just before the World War II. Tokyo has a quite good size including Yokohama. About 4 million. Population was about 4 million. Then this air raid destroyed, 60% Tokyo destroyed by air raid. So we had restarted here again to construct city. So of course we have a history of more than 100 and more than that, but the present Tokyo should be explained. Just the starting time was this 1945. Then the time of the time. So after the war, the population just coming back about 6 million. Then expanding, and this is Tokyo Tower, 1950s. Then we have a construction of a freeway system in city center. So this is because of Olympic Games, bullet train also. So 1964. So 1960 is a drastic time for Japan to recover the economy and just coming up to the world standard. This Olympic Games was starting time to that. So more than about 60 years now. So about 60 years, Tokyo had a drastic change. Starting with the high-rise buildings in the Shinjuku area, 1960s. Then expanding rapidly. Only 10 years, you can see that this urban region expanded quite rapidly. So we have to accept more people to live. Then we had the new town. This is quite a famous new town in Tokyo. It's Tama New Town. The left-hand side is just before construction, and right side before after development. So what this? This is about 30 kilometers from Shinjuku station. So this side is the same to any other city in the world. Every time, whenever you have a more population to live, you have to construct new town, suburban areas, and we did. So they are quite slim shape, but this is just vacant areas, not developed yet, so the chance to change. But for construction, we have to install railways, road networks, many things. So these are more detail. Okay, this is some system. In case of Tokyo, we have 3 bodies to construct. First one is the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. This is mainly for the affordable housing, low-income people. And the Urban Revitalization Organization is more high level. And Tokyo Metropolitan Housing Supply Corporation is a middle class. So such kind of variety of development. But this is several options. In case of Japanese housing development, we have this kind of variety based on income of people's income. And same thing happened here. And you can see the railway. 2 railway was constructed for this new town. So originally, this new town was proposing to accept 300,000 population, about in the area of 3,000 hectares. But actually, this goal was not just reached. Presently now, already 6 years now, the population in this area is 240,000. So, well, we have so many, ideal things, many things, but finally, sometimes the real condition is different. Many things. Well, quite serious topic is aging in Japan. Well, it's kind of the top class in the world. So aging people is better to live in city center because of moving, because of medical care, some others. So this kind of suburban area is not necessarily so popular. But now, ironically, this year or last year, because of COVID-19, some people moved to suburban areas. Now, this time New Town, it will be the same thing happened there. Some people coming again. Anyway, this is the story of New Town. Okay, then still ongoing, Tokyo's development. You can see that just developed so much quickly. Then one big construction happened in 1997. Under the Tokyo Bay, we have a tunnel connecting to Chiba Prefecture. And this quite soon now. So you can compare the difference about 100 years. Left-hand side, population was 2 million. On right-hand side, population is more than that, about about 33 million. Well, this story may be many cities in the world, especially in Jakarta. And well, some similarity in a city in the future. So what we should do, we have to sustain the people's activity, a number of population, some others. So it's a speed is important. How we can assign that? If it be late, it means that if you are late to supply infrastructure, you may have so many urban problems, such as pollution, just congestion, some others. It's a kind of just a battle every time. So I will introduce the condition that we have. We have so many construction now in Tokyo. So it might be about next 10 years, Tokyo will change again, and we may have a different landscape in 10 years now. So topic is the future of Tokyo urban inner city. Well, famous area in Tokyo is the Imperial Housing Center, and close to that we have a Tokyo Station. So around Tokyo Station, we have so many business areas, but not only that, we have a different area, Roppongi or Toranomon or Shibuya or waterfront area, some other. So all of this central part, so many kind of construction ongoing now. So this is a kind of list of that. Well, how we can do that? Well, one topic in Tokyo is in everywhere, every area, some influential company, development country is in charge. Close to Tokyo Station, Mitsubishi. North to Tokyo Station, Mitsui, or in central part, Mori Building, or some other area, Sumitomo. We have several private companies quite influential. So automatically they are their own domain to construct. So it's kind of a good competition happen there. Of course, but behind that, central government, local government, especially Tokyo government, has an idea to develop, but actually the development should be on the part of private companies. So now it's ongoing in Tokyo now. Other topic is the compact in city now. Even we have 36 million in urban region, and only Tokyo government, we have 40 million. But concentration is still happening. It's kind of compacting. About 6 kilometer diameter from Tokyo Station, many functions just coming together now. So from Shinagawa area to the Haneda Airport to the world, now we have a new train, Maglev train is on construction. It's easy to come to Nagoya now. So now I will introduce what's happening in Tokyo now. Colored buildings are just on construction now, under construction. So we have already city, but now we have so many construction ongoing. You can see Imperial Palace, Tokyo Station area, Azabu Akasaka Toranomon area, and Shinagawa area, Shibuya area, Shinjuku area, Waterfront Bay area. All of these areas, so many construction development ongoing now. Well, this is a list now, just on the movie now. Well, in the later part in Bay Area is just Athlete Village, already completed and the Olympic game was finished now. So you can see now they already have several developed areas, but only within 6 kilometers, everything happens. So this is a kind of, I think it's in 1960s, Tokyo had a rapid growth, but now we have a second decade of 21st centuries. I think now this is a new stage now, but this not only in Tokyo, same thing happens in London and New York. So I explained today about the GPCI, and there are 3 top cities in the world. So almost simultaneously, same thing happened in the world now. So this is some of the reasons. One more important reason is because of globalization. Any country is losing a boundary from the viewpoint of people's moving. People are easy to move for work, for investment, anything. And well, this is a topic about that, okay? So some detail, this is the Imperial Palace and Tokyo Station area already established, but now we have several new development within 10 years. Well, in the northern part of Tokyo Station, highest building in Japan. It will be coming about 5 years now. Height is 390. So in the most specialized area in business center in Japan, in Tokyo station area, already most buildings are renewed. But this is historical area. Last 10 years, most buildings are renewed. And now they have a new idea of area management to work each other. Not only buildings, but including people's activities, more sharing, more fascinating, daytime, nighttime, and weekends. This is the newest topic now under construction. Northern part of Tokyo Station. So finally, there's quite a big plaza here in front of the station. The Nihonbashi area, the historical site, north to Tokyo Station area, north to Marunouchi area. So this is the center of Edo period, but now it's under construction again, and it's renewed again. Topic here is how to recover the history. Okay, now shrine was recovered now, and trying to make a townscape of Edo period more than 300 years ago, and also the new village here, new bridge here. And finally, this is done by Mitsui Corporation. So the idea finally is that now they are trying to construct new bridge. This bridge was existed 400 years ago in Edo period. So because now they are trying to make a remake, the same bridge, wooden village. Finally, they recovered the history 400 years now. But this started not only Japan, but the same in England and not America, but England and European countries. They are trying to recover the history, especially in case of Tokyo. Tokyo was just destroyed by air raid. So we lost most things. So we recover again the history. This is the Roppongi Toranomon area. Now so many buildings. This is a new site of city center of Tokyo. Then almost now the Toranomon area for 100 buildings. It's changing now. This is a Shibuya station. This is one of the substations of Tokyo city center. This is a before construction, but now undergoing now. It's changing. So it's a kind of tourism of high-rise buildings. It's changing now. Again, they are not history, but Shibuya River walkside is just already, this is covered by the road, but now they change it again and demolish the road and making a new walkway. Such kind of topic to recover history and return back to nature. This is a very good, quite important issue for the urban development in 21st century. And another topic is today I explain the history of Tokyo. The most important topic is a railway network. So this network now, this should be a top level in the world, maybe very close to the case of London. How we can sustain 36 million because of this railway network, not road, of course we have a road network, but for commuting, people's commuting, roadway is not necessarily good. It's congested. So railway is the most important. So the commuter railway to suburban areas and in the city center, so many subway systems. It's connected to each other. Once you know come to Tokyo, you know such kind of story. Any commuter train is connected to subway. You have to change terrain. It's coming to city center automatically. So this is just a mystery. We can manage this kind of condensed city center. Furthermore, we are trying to the new train now. From Tokyo to Shinjuku area to the Haneda Airport. Now, under construction, they are constructing a tunnel now. So once it's connected to city center to Tokyo, Shinjuku to the Haneda Airport, only 18 minutes from Tokyo Station to Haneda Airport and 23 minutes from Shinjuku to Haneda Airport. This is a kind of key factor for any major city in the world. How you can connect to international airport from city center. So this should be an important topic. Maybe could be completed 2029. Another trend is just ongoing now from city center to Bay Area. Bay Area is still undergoing to develop, but they need a new railway. This is the condition now happening in Tokyo now. Quite briefly explain about that. And why this needed? Already in London, they have a quite good subway network. Even so that now London constructed a cross railway. So they are connecting the new site of development. And still it's finally to come to the Heathrow Airport. So this is a topic for any mega city in the world. Still, we need more installment of new railway network. Another topic in Tokyo, in Japan, is important topic is a mega maglev train. Okay, Tokyo's power come to the western part of Japan. This is the most important development axis in Japan. Tokyo, Nagoya, Osaka, Fukuoka. And from Tokyo to Osaka, bullet train is connected. But now, new type of bullet train is just construction. This is one. From Tokyo to Nagoya, this maglev train is running 500 kilometers per hour. And so Tokyo and Nagoya is connected only 40 minutes. And it might be coming 2027. So we may have again the new history for Japanese development and Japanese urban activity. The reason is, once Nagoya is connected to Tokyo, only 40 minutes, Nagoya becomes a suburban area of Tokyo. So Tokyo has more power to develop. So now this is undergoing. So finally, change of access time. 1930, the top, coming down to the bottom, 2040, Japanese islands connected each other very in a short time. So this is, well, real space is different, but the time span, the space from a viewpoint time span, Japan is smaller to move each other. So at the Olympic Games, we expect the deregulation, but not necessarily perfect. And now, after Olympic Games, now we are expecting what happens in the next 1 decade. So by 2030, what happened? Well, no one knows that. But as a fact, many urban development is ongoing. So once we can get good demand from the world, most of this kind of development will be working well. If we don't, even if we construct buildings, maybe not so many visitors. Well, such kind of two stories about that, optimistic and pessimistic. But every time it happens for the urban development. And the final topic is that even you construct buildings, we need activity of people. So this is the area revitalization of the people in case of Roppongi Hills. So many activities from the viewpoint of safety and security, local assets, eco-friendliness. So after building, after constructed buildings, you have to how to manage the area, not only buildings. This already is a common sense in the world. And so many competition in city center Tokyo now. How you can get safety, security, how you can get local assets, of course, eco-friendliness. Then some events, such as the Roppongi Hills Bon Odori is a fest in summer. Using this most developed buildings, but this kind of traditional Japanese festival is taken. Then this is not traditional, but it's a Western system. Halloween parade. But Japan absorbed everything, anything from the world. So this tried to change to Japanese style. So this happens already here. So after constructing so many high-level buildings, then how you can manage area to get people's fascination. This is a topic now in Tokyo, but not only in Tokyo, or maybe same in the world. Thank you very much.
ありがとうございます、市川先生。Thank you very much for Ichikawa Sensei. This is really, I think this is was a really wonderful lecture, very useful lecture. It was a great sharing about knowledge, about information and insight about global poverty index. So I can take one point of your presentation, but the strength of Tokyo on the overall highest ranking, maybe in the economic research and development and cultural interaction and accessibility, maybe something like that. So, but for Jakarta, they have a strengthened indicator in GDP growth, maybe GDP growth, and the total of employment, the number of hotel and rooms, but they have weakness on the weakness indicator, low ranking indicator on the air quality, urban greenery, number of visitors, and same like that. So thank you very much for your sharing, Prof. Ichikawa Sensei. You give us many explanation about global poverty index, the future improvement in the transportation network urban, and what learning from the past on Tokyo urban development and preparing for the future of development. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we can, because we still have about 20 minutes for question time. So if you have question, all participants, if you have question or a suggestion, you can write on chat room. I have one special question for Prof. Ichikawa. So maybe we know that now I think that if we see the lifestyle transformation today, we can see that post COVID-19 demand for working from home for working at home. I think there's most of workers are now working from home. So do you think that this condition will same post COVID-19? The condition is same. All demand for working home will be same in Tokyo and Jakarta. So how do you think about this, Sensei? If same, so maybe I think that there is the chance, many the chance of cities, same like the use of public transportation system, the needed space of office space, and like that. How do you what's your opinion about this condition, Prof. Ichikawa Sensei?
Well, under the COVID-19, I'm not quite sure about the case of Jakarta, but in case of Japan, some different in some different cities. In case of Tokyo, quite a majority of people started to work in the house, not coming to the office. But in other cities, not necessarily so much. People try to keep the same thing to come to a working area. But now, okay, we are expecting the finishing of COVID-19. What happens? Already more people already are quite trained to work in the house. And some of people, about more than half, are quite satisfied with working in the house, not coming to company, to the office. Well, so now our discussion is starting now. What happens? But when we see the more detail of the fact, some findings, the most remote working work is good for the case of the information industry or some specialists to work. But in other working part, not necessarily fitted. So maybe many people know the merit of working in the house. So they try to keep it, but the company doesn't like that. Company want to come to people come to the office, just chatting on working together and finally evaluating their the result works. So so maybe still we don't know what happened after the this COVID-19. Original, well, maybe in principle, maybe we'll still keep the same style before COVID-19, but some variety happens already. Because more than 50% of people are frustrated with working in a house, or not in a company. So maybe they try to work some other areas. So one answer about that is share office, co-working space are quite popular now in the world. So the number of co-working space will be accelerating to get more positions. So this is my guess. So finally, the manager change the part. Manager have to change his way of thinking. Because every time managers want to keep just watching people working there. It might be different. So, but still we don't know how much it happens and when it happens. But even so that, we have to think about more change of style of working place in the city center. Maybe suburban areas or not necessarily their headquarters, more sub-offices, some others. So variety of style of offices will be increasing. This is a general answer about that.
Do you have anything explanation else? No? Okay. So you said that public transportation use in Tokyo is highest in the first ranking in the world. So, do you have some like knowledge how Tokyo can achieve this achievement, same like the public transportation?
Well, it's a kind of trial and trial and error. It's the history of Tokyo, okay? Because we have so heavy pollution of air. Tokyo government, Japanese government will make a new law to stop that. And for workers, many people come to city center, it's congested. Okay, so government have a subsidy money for the railway companies and construct the railways more and more coaches, more cars, and more frequency of the running. Finally, Tokyo had a good success to that. Then once we see the result now, we have a high level of network railway system and quite so many coaches, cars. Every train has about 10 cars, sometimes 15 cars, okay. It's quite long. And running only 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it can be done. It's because Japanese system is quite strict to keep the time. So finally, it can be possible now. So this is the result. We had the trial, so many things. That's the result we have now. But it's important to say, we have a result now. So once you have a trial, you may have this kind of thing. And this is the one story about the completion, most completed now, in Tokyo now. And it's quite, in city center, Paris and Tokyo is quite unique now. And at the total, suburban areas, maybe London and Tokyo is quite similar now. So this is important for any large city, mega city to keep the workers to city center. We have to install railways. And already now, Jakarta is starting now, but it's still time to change. But maybe same answer Jakarta should have. Okay. Then another topic I have to say, already you have a high level of network and quite how many frequency of running of railways now. But in this COVID-19, people will change style of working. So now they are coming to city center 5 days a week, but maybe they're changing 4 days, 3 days a week. And other times they're working in their house or another area for the telework and remote working. So trouble here is how the railway companies can manage the company. Okay? So now we have a quite urgent answer now. They are losing passengers. Finally, they have to change fare, more expensive. Now it is said that about 30% passenger will be decreasing because of this COVID-19, even after COVID. So now, finally, if the same frequency and convenience and anything, if a railway company wants to keep, they have to get more money. So now finally, fare will be getting up now about 30% from now on. We have already discussion about that. But finally, passenger will decide to pay or not. And another topic is, okay, in case of London, the fare is changing based on time. Peak time or off-peak time, some difference, but we have no system of that. So next stage is we have a discussion about such kind of system, peak or off-peak, the change of fare. Such kind of discussion will be starting. So whenever we have any disaster, we do new thing. It's a history. So about this kind of COVID-19, we may have a new style. Maybe we are discussing and starting. So this is my guess now.
Okay, thank you very much for your explanation, Chikao-sensei. Okay, we still have about 5 minutes for question time. So maybe we can back to the Jakarta case, Sensei, Professor. Yeah. About your explanation, you said that Jakarta have on the same like air quality, urban greenery, and the number of research, same like that. So what's your opinion? What's your recommendation? What's your input about what should Jakarta do from now to increase the ranking of the power of the city? What they must have? What the point of important point of how to improve them like that, please. Same like the case of urban, the number of urban greenery, same like that. About how Tokyo can achieve the good achievement on the urban greenery, same like that.
Well, okay, urban greenery is quite a critical point for Tokyo. Okay, we don't have so much in the green in the city center and the city overall. And well, I have to say 2 points. Okay, even we have weak points, we can't clear easily. Other point is sometimes whenever we adopt new urban policy, we can change the condition. So the thing we have to do is which that. This might be a quite difficult to even we adopt new policy. But in case if we adopt new policy, maybe we clear the topic. The quite good topic is lorry, diesel, so many exhausted gases. And this is the final topic for Tokyo government to change. Only now, 10 years now, we adopted a new law, stop such kind of exhausted gases of lorries, diesels. But until that time, very strong opposition from the companies, okay? Once the government try to stop the exhausted gases, so it means the company have to change activities. So decrease the number of trucks, lorries, or just to change some system. So finally, the central government and local government had a chance to give subsidy money to put the new system. If not, you can't do anymore. So finally, such kind of options happen there. So this means whenever we try to solve the problem, not only government, but also the workers and the companies have to cooperate. So this is quite, how can I say, we need so many stages, okay?
Mhm.
Because first of all, private company not easy to accept, okay? Because they are losing money. But even so that the people or residents have the same opinion, you should do that. It might be changing. This is about the movement. Then government had to start to changing the style to stop such kind of thing. So every time it happens, not only the lorries, diesel exhaust gases 10 years ago, but other cases more than 50 years. We have so many battles about that. At the beginning, any companies will complain. But after that, people don't like that. Then finally, government just start to move, just to start. Such kind of history, a long history. So the condition now in Tokyo is quite good air and no noise, and the water is quite clean, and nothing in the river. But this is not only the natural topics. So many efforts to change. It took more than 50 years. So same thing happened to the any city in the world, same to the Jakarta. You can start bit by bit. It might be changing. Once people find that it will be changed, after that, more support from people, then government should do that. Such kind of combination should be important. So for greenery, topic is a quite, weak point for Tokyo. We are trying to increase some trees, but not easy to do that. But if so, don't worry about that. This is a weak point. Maybe we have to sort of keep. But for other points, we have to find how we can change by adapting a new law to change the conditions. It's efforts. So it's up to originally in principle, it's up to the government. But at the same time, not only government, residents, citizens. So it must be together. This is a history we have in Japan, in Tokyo.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sensei. Okay, we still receive some additional questions. Sensei, this is question from University. They said that we know that Tokyo have high ranking on the in the cultural interaction on the world. So, is there any special treatment? Is there any special measure how Japan maintains the local culture in the middle of high development in Japan? So I think is the culture have now portion in consideration to develop the city of Tokyo?
Well, I'm not sure that the topic of culture, what kind of culture? Well, traditional culture is quite important. And now, wherever any country has become mature, becoming rich, they start to remember the past. And now, in the country now, we are coming to such kind of stage. Wherever, well, at the beginning, the development is the most important. And many cases, we forget the history of a tradition, the culture. But once we becoming mature, we try to find again the traditional culture. And in case of urban development, already I explained today, the case of Nihonbashi, they are trying to recover the 400 years ago. And not only this kind of physical things, so many activities. So we have so many traditional festivals in Japan, in Tokyo, some area, and still keep reserve that. But well, if I'm concerned about that, younger generation every time loves new things and Western style. So they are not so respect the Japanese traditional cultures. So maybe our generation should show the importance of such kind of traditional things and the cultures. And now I think it's going well now. And now Japanese system is every time we keep our tradition and we absorb the Western system and other countries, then make a mixed news. So mixed cultures. So it's still ongoing, the same thing happen now.
Okay, thank you very much, Sensei, for your explanation. Ibu Abida, bagaimana? Kita lanjut atau sudah waktu?
Bisa dilanjut kalau masih bisa.
Okay, we still have two questions, Professor. This
Yeah.
is from Andy Abidan. So, what's the new regulation on the COVID, in the COVID time? What's the different, or what's the different? The urban transportation in Tokyo, same like duration, destination, transportation, same like other. And one cell, we know that Tokyo also having much earthquake, same like that in the last October 30. So how Japan railway network can survive to this same like disaster occurring, same like that?
Well, you're talking about earthquakes, eh? But natural disaster is one of the quite big risk for Japan and Tokyo. And again, we have COVID-19. So not only natural disaster, we have this kind of the virus, the troubles. But originally, and in principle, the natural disaster is a quite critical topic every time. And Tokyo prepared for many things. And this is not only one topic. Well, 2011, just 10 years ago, we had quite a big earthquake. Big attack to Japan. At that time, physically, Tokyo is not troubled so much. Okay. So because the Japanese architectural code is quite strict in the world and not easy to be destroyed. But other topic we found, we have too many people in Tokyo. So about 1 million people working in Tokyo. So most of them just live in the suburban areas. So they have to go back to their houses. They have to return to their houses. But trouble is, because of earthquake, train stopped. So no way. So some people stay in Tokyo city center, or some people just starting walk. Such thing happens. And luckily, big troubles happen there. But in the case of a big disaster, not only national destroy, but also the people's behaviors are quite become sometimes dangerous. So the every time think about that. So now Tokyo started that is after such a trouble, we found Tokyo is not easily be damaged by the earthquake. Physically, okay. But for the activity of people, a different topic. One serious topic is at the time of big disaster, we can't use the telephone. Telephone is just stopped. So now Japanese government starting to change system. Even at the time of big disaster, still we need some communication by using telephone. So how to get telephone system, some others. So such kind of a variety of treatment would be important in case of disaster. So traditionally and chronologically, the Japanese system to prevent disaster is making strong structure. It's already ongoing, still ongoing. The others, and in addition to that, furthermore, how to people's activities should be quite, should be kept in stable conditions. For that, we need communications and maybe some place to accept people, some others. So such kind of variation is already a topic now. So this might be same to any other cities in the world. Not only for the against the attack of earthquake from the viewpoint of physical destruction, but also the how to manage the people and the activity of the everything, urban activity with some others. So this is a story you have. But still we have to keep on going to make an effort because there's no perfect answers about that. Every time I have to, and we have to do the best what we can do. This is a story every time in Tokyo now.
Okay, thank you very much for your explanation, Prof. Ichikawa. This is one question more from, so about recovery economic after COVID-19. How Japan, I think that how Tokyo government can do same like measure to recover economic growth after COVID-19, Prof.
Well, this is quite, how can I say, important and very, I have to say, the good topic to discuss now. Because of COVID-19, we are said the economic condition quite becoming worse. This is one story. But on the other hand, very different story you have. In case of Amazon, okay, they had a top value now because of COVID-19. So this is a fact now. Some industry are quite worse condition, but other conditions are different in different industry. So as a total, it might be some descending of the economy will be happening. But as a total, not so serious. How can I say? In case of stock, the price of stock is getting up now. It's a mystery. What happens? Well, answer is quite easy to say. Because of this pandemic in the world, most government pay money. Central government pay so many money for any area. So now finally, in case of Tokyo and not only Tokyo, the price of stock is going up. Okay, so this means for the recovery of economy after COVID-19, this important data, okay, because the stock is quite high now, okay. So of course, some industries such as transportation or just eating and some other industries not good, but other parts are not bad. So maybe topic here is how to make balance deteriorated industry, how we can escape. But other cases, other industries maybe not needed anymore to help to be helped. So such kind of combination would be coming next stage, I think. As a total, of course, some deterioration just ongoing now in this economy, but not serious. When compared to the case of Lehman shock, 2009, it's different condition now. This is my impression so far.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, because the time is already finished for session time. This is the last question, maybe, Professor. I just want to ask you, if you see the size of Makassar city, same like Makassar city now is the population about 2 million population, same like this. With the same size of city, what's your recommendation? What's your opinion? What the keywords? Three key points of how to improve the power of Makassar city with the same size of only same like that.
Well, today I'm talking about the mega city, but the case of the Makassar is a different topic because this is the center of the island. Okay, so close case is similar case is Fukuoka in Japan and Kyushu. Okay, it's
yes.
only 1.6 million population,
yes. Yeah.
but it's the center of island. The center of island means that this city has everything. It's a kind of a package of many functions. So if we have several type of cities in which have the same population of 2 million, but the location is important. If the city is the center of some area, it governing everything. So as a total, how the balanced function your city has is an important topic. So today I already explained about the case of mega cities, but I'm showing 6 functions of a city and making several index. But you can adapt the same system. You can check 6 functions in your city and what's good, what's bad. So if we can find that, you can make easy to make a policy to change in the future. So this kind of ranking system is not only competing each other, but we have a chance to find your weak points. So what you can do, this is a topic. So I think, maybe same case you study is maybe Fukuoka is good to study in case of Japan, the center of the city. And also in Sapporo in Hokkaido. Yeah, it's only 1 million, a little bit more. So it's not so big, but this city has everything. So
Mhm.
it's same in your country in the future. Your city has everything. The leading city in your island.
Maybe based on experience from Fukuoka, Sapporo, we can discuss next again about Jepang,
Right.
Makassar, right? Then, Professor. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Emeritus Hiro Ichikawa Sensei, for your time today. This is a really great lecture. So, Pak Bu Adi, Bu Abida, before we coming to the closing, maybe we can invite the Dean of Faculty of Engineering Universitas Nasional Makassar, Profesor Muhammad Yahya, for closing statement, for closing speech. Silakan, Prof.
Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Guest Lecturer Hiro Ichikawa, PhD, Professor Emeritus of Meiji University. Distinguished lecturer and student, arigato gozaimasu.
You're welcome.
This all, we are grateful to Hiro Ichikawa, PhD, for your willingness, sharing for ideas, insight, and experience. It is an honor for us, for the professor, readiness to be a guest lecturer in this event. Also, we are obliged. Dr. Muhammad Zulkifli Muhtar, STMN. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih, sama-sama, Prof. Yeah.
Who has facilitated this guest lecture today, organized by Architecture Study Program. Thank you very much, the head of Architecture Study Program. The guest lecture will be beneficial to our students, as we'll provide them information of Japan urban environment. To be honest, we are fortunate to gain insight and wisdom about the Global Power City Index and lesson learned from Tokyo urban development. Thursday, Talk of Heritage Urban Architecture and Structure Days is a routine event that is held every semester. Once again, on behalf of Rector Universitas Negeri Makassar, I'm grateful to Hiro Ichikawa, PhD, and Mr. Zulkifli. Pak Zulkifli, thank you very much for your fully support this event. With Hamdallah words, the guest lecture for the 2021 autumn semester is officially closed. Sekian, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Silakan Bu Abi, saya kembalikan.
Terima kasih Pak Zulkifli. Demo arigato gozaimasu. Semoga bagus, semoga betul pronunciation-nya. Thank you, Dr. Zulkifli, to handle this guest lecturer. I am Andi Abida, Head Program Study of Architecture, Universitas Negeri Makassar. Will inform that Thursday, Talk of Heritage Urban Architecture and Structure Day will come next semester. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hiro Ichikawa.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for all participants, and we can finish for this guest lecturer. Terima kasih Pak Zulkifli. What the meaning arigato?
Thank you very much, Prof. Ichikawa. Thank you very much, Pak Prof.
You're welcome.
Muhammad Yahya,
Ya.
Ibu Abi.
Ya.
Saya pamit dulu
Iya,
ya.
thank
Mari
you.
kita bagian mata.
Thank
What
you.
See you next.
what the arigato arigato Profesor Ichikawa.
Yeah, see you again.
See you next. Arigatou gozaimasu.
I know. Bye-bye.
Ya, bye bye.
See you next.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Makasih.
Pak Zulkifli.
Saya pamit dulu ya, Bu Abida. Mari,
Oh
Prof.
iya,
Saya-
makasih.
Ya. Makasih Pak Zulkifli.
Makasih Pak Dekan, Prof.
Ya.
and Kesun.